the InDesign users group, which is going to be a great meeting. I'm going to be speaking there. That's the InDesign users group in Sydney, and we're going to do a session on colour management. It looks like I'm a bit nervous about it, but should be fine. So we've got that. Don't forget, I've got some training seminars with Fuji Xerox as well, and the details are on my website. Now for the tip. This is an Illustrator tip. I hope you enjoy it. There's a couple of tips built into one. It's about time we had some more Illustrator, isn't it? Wonderful. Well, I've got a great little Illustrator tip now that I hope you're going to enjoy. And it involves a couple of little tips, actually. I'm going to work into this map of Australia that we're going to draw. It's going to be a very stylised map of Australia, so I hope you don't mind. We're going to learn a couple of things, one about text and one about vector graphics. So, step number 1, you'll notice I've already done that, and that is draw all of the capital cities here in sort of roughly position them where our map is going to go. The next thing that we're going to do is draw our map. And we're going to start off with a very basic ellipse. Using the ellipse tool here, I was going to click and drag a basic ellipse for the shape of Australia and another little basic ellipse for the shape of Tasmania, which sort of goes down there for those of you who don't live in Australia. So, let's give this wide brown country of ours a colour. Let's use the cappuccino colour. I think it's very appropriate. And we're going to select these two shapes and send them to the back. How do we do that? I hear you all ask out there. Well, we press Apple Shift when we're on the Apple key, or Control Shift when we're on the PC, and use the left square bracket and send things to the back. So that's the shortcut. Of course, you could always use the menus, object, arrange, send to back, but that is so 5 minutes ago, we're not going to be using those anymore. So, let's choose our map of Australia, which looks weirdly like an egg at this stage, and we're going to change the shape of it. Not using the pen tool, not using the pencil or brush tools, we're going to use the warp tools, which are sitting right over here. And if I zoom in there, it looks like a little hand. Well, in fact, it is a little hand, and it can warp our image. I can click and hold, and you'll notice that there are a bunch, or a little set, of tools. There they are there. I'll just zoom in again for you so you can see there's a little set of tools. We're mostly concerned with this very first one there, which is just the standard warping tool. Okay, that's the one that we're going to use. We've got it selected. We'll move it out the way, and you'll notice I have a brush size. To alter my brush size, I can have the Alt on the PC or the Option on the Mac and click up and to the right. Whoa, that was a bit quick. Hold on a moment. Alt or Option and up and to the right to expand my brush, or down and to the left to make my brush smaller. You'll also notice I've got my window open today, and you can hear the birds buzzing around outside if you listen carefully. So, I'll make my brush a little bit bigger, and I'm going to then use my brush to create Queensland. I feel so powerful. Let me, a little gap there, and if we know Australia, we know that Queensland is quite pointy at the top. Let's make a pointy looking brush. There we have it. We can push Brizzy in a little bit there. Melbourne and Victoria, this is where I live, folks. Victoria down the bottom here. And then a famous part of Australia, the Great Australian Bight down the bottom here. Let's push that up, and Perth down a bit. The Western Australian coast needs to come in up till Broome, and we're pretty much there. It's a very stylised map. I know that, but this is what we're looking at doing, creating a very stylised map. Oh, I'm very pleased, except for Tasmania is not the correct shape. Again, Option or Alt, down and to the left, and we can push things around. Okay, we can use some of these other tools up here. There's a whole bunch of them there. You can see them. There's a scalloping tool, and there's a roughen tool, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. We could use the wrinkle tool here to add a few little wrinkles. We'll add some wrinkles to Tasmania, Oh, we could add some wrinkles to the coast around the Great Australian Bight there. For those surfers out there, where I'm clicking right now, that's around about where Cactus is. The roughest but best surf breaks around. So there we go. We can wrinkle the edge. This particular wrinkle tool works, it's unidirectional, a bit like my microphone. You can change it from working in only a vertical plane, and we'll take that back to 0, and then we can work horizontally. It's so we don't get intersections on our wrinkles. That's why that's happening there. So let's wrinkle the coast a little bit. Oh yes. Couldn't be happier with that. Maybe a little bit happier, but not much. Now, Perth is completely flown off the map. Adelaide's in the right spot. Melbourne's around about right. Sydney's a bit high too. So we'll move those around into the right posies. Okay. Moving on to our second part of the tip, we would like to change the look of some of our text. So let's choose Melbourne, and we'll go ahead and choose a different font. What about this one? Oh, Mike, that's insane. Why would you choose such a font? Well, you're probably quite right. I'm not going to, as a truck goes past my window. Let's choose this one. We'll go for bold, and we'll also go for white. We'll make it a bit smaller because it's insanely huge. And we'll just try that again. Select 12 point. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a nice bit of text. If you're an InDesign user, fantastic, welcome to the club. You might be used to being able to use the eyedropper, that's the eyedropper, to format text, or to copy and paste the formatting of text from one text block or from one piece of text to another. And we used to be able to do it in Illustrator using the eyedropper and the paint bucket to apply it. Well, they've changed it, those little devils. So what are we going to do? Use the eyedropper? We cannot use the paint bucket because now that's the live paint bucket. There is no normal paint bucket. So how do we do it? There's a bit of a clue. If you double click the eyedropper, you get this list of stuff. So it is going to pick up character styles and paragraph styles, and it is going to apply character styles and paragraph styles. But how? That's the question. Let's figure it out. So we click on Melbourne because that's the style we want. And an InDesign user would instantly go, well, now I'm going to click on Canberra and nothing happens. But in InDesign, that would format that. Maybe we need to sample it and click and drag, but no dice. Try this. Click on your formatted text that you would like to copy. On the PC, hold the Alt key, and on the Mac, hold the Option key, and then click and drag over the text you want to format, and lo and behold, there we have it. So, this is wonderful. You'll notice as I hold down my Alt key or my Option key, my cursor flips and says, hey, I'm going to format that text if you like, and that's exactly what we want to do. So we're down here on Perth and we Alt or Option key down and click and drag, and there it goes. That little red dot's just telling you when I'm clicking. That's what that does, and it's just part of my special interface. You guys won't be able to do that. I like to keep something up my sleeve. And there we have it. I can then move Hobart into the right spot, and we have now used the warping tools. We've now used the eyedropper to format text, and our map of Australia, which is just a little bit big to fit on screen, is not exactly correct. It's not anywhere near it actually, but roundabout. There we've got it. A map of Australia with a couple of extra bonus tips for you in episode 9 of Creative Suite. It was fun, wasn't it?